All right, everybody, welcome to this LiveCast. Super excited to have you. If you quit your day job and had to live on your investments, now that's the goal, right? That's really what you're striving for. So if you want to do this right, you can make it happen in the next 5 to 10 years. And today I'll show you a systematic plan that I've used myself, and I teach my kids, my employees, and anybody else who will listen to me on how to make this happen. And in my opinion, this is just as important or maybe more important than what I teach about fix and flip. So let's dive right into this today. I'm excited. We're going to be talking about the 5 steps to make more with your investments than with your day job. There we go. 5 steps to make more with your investments than your day job. This is LiveCast. Thanks so much for being here. What I'm going to cover today, we always do a finding tip. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about bankruptcy. Also, in today's agenda, we're doing our welcomes, our updates, our finding tip of the week, topic of the week. I always do a free tool every single week. I want to have you take advantage of that. We'll talk about more of that in just a few minutes. This show's for entertainment purposes only. Before making any financial moves, consult with a real estate professional, attorney, CPA, or other professionals in the specific subject matter. Everybody's situation is different. There is no one size fits all. DHM may receive payments on the show in the form of sponsors, guests, books, items, discounts, other remediations. As with anything in life, results come from education, following a system, hard work, and determination to follow through until the end. All right, guys, if you haven't already, and thank you for those who have. Please type your name and the city and state where you're investing or where you want to be investing. And we will jump into this. I appreciate those of you who are with us today. There are new videos that I upload every single week, like how to lose money on a flip or buying a rental property with less than $5,000, okay? These are videos where they're anywhere from 3 to 15 minutes, and they answer one specific question, like how to lose money on a flip. If you've got some questions you'd like to have me answer, just watch some of these videos, type it in, say, hey, Ryan, do a Just Ask Ryan video on this, and we'll put it in our sequences, and I'll start working on something, and who knows, before you know it, there might be a video answering your specific question. Now, one of the ways you can know if there's a video that answers your question is be a subscriber to our DoHardMoney YouTube channel. If you are not subscribed right now and you can hear the sound of my voice, please hit that subscribe button and type in the comments, Ryan, I am your newest subscriber. I would really appreciate that very much. And if you hit that bell notification, it'll let you know when we're releasing videos, okay? Every single week we do our live cast, 6 p.m. Eastern time. We condense that and turn that into a recorded video that we put on. And then I release one other video with one of those Just Ask Ryans every single week. But the biggest compliment you can give me is telling somebody else about this and about this channel. I really appreciate it. Now, if you stay till the end, which you're gonna want to, I'm gonna be giving away what's called our next property roadmap. And our next property roadmap, what it does is it takes you from where you're at to where you want to be in doing your first deal. Think of it as reverse engineering. You're saying, where do I want to be and how do I work myself backwards? It's one of the things I use quite frequently as I'm working towards goals, accomplishments, and places that I want to get to. All right, let's jump into our finding tip of the week. Finding tip of the week, we're talking about bankruptcy. What is bankruptcy? Somebody files for bankruptcy when they cannot pay their bills. There's 2 different types of bankruptcy. We've got Chapter 11, that's a reorganizational, where it basically lowers the payment, it stops the additional interest, they put it on a repayment plan, and then there's a Chapter 13, which everything gets written off. It doesn't lower your payment. Something is off on that. Anyway, a Chapter 13 actually just wipes everything out. You don't have to pay the creditors. They have to take it as a loss, and you move on with life. Now, bankruptcy. A discharge is when the court cancels your obligation to repay the debt. And dismissed is the court does an order. This ends your bankruptcy case without your debt discharged or eliminated. So if it's dismissed, somebody filed for a bankruptcy, the court's like, for whatever reason, they didn't make their payments, it didn't work with a plan, whatever the case is. Now, if it's discharged, that's when it's all been taken care of. So that's when it comes with the bankruptcy. So when this happens, somebody's getting into financial trouble. They go and they file up for a bankruptcy. It gets dismissed for non-payment or some other reason. it's still not enough. If we want to make a fix and flip with these, if somebody has had a bankruptcy, but has no equity in their home, that's not going to work. It's not going to be an opportunity where we can actually help them. So what I like to look at is single family homes not listed on the MLS, $500,000 or more of equity. And the way that I do this is I use Investor's Edge. And with Investor's Edge, I'll put in an area and I will do some of these buckets. So let me show you what I am talking about here. Let's see, it looks like we are playing around. Okay, let's just take Atlanta, Georgia, and look at these bankruptcies. And there's 2,022 bankruptcies that meet these criterias. Residential, single-family condo townhome, not listed on the MLS, has an active bankruptcy or a bankruptcy dismissed, under $500,000 with 30% or more of equity. This is a gold mine of deals out there just waiting for you to go and to work them, okay? That's what it is, and so that's how I like to do that. Now, if you're a member with us, you have access to Investor's Edge. You can build the list, and then you have to market to them, right? So you take that list, and you're gonna name the list, and then what's gonna happen is you're going to either do a skip trace, where you can actually get in touch with them. You can send a postcard, you can stop by, you can knock on the door. There's a multitude of ways to get in touch with them, and that's the next step in this process. Five steps to make more with your investments than you do your day job. What are we going to cover? We are going to jump all into this of some things you've got to realize. At the end of the day, you have two jobs, and most people don't understand this. You have a job to put food on the table, take care of your family, and to make a little extra money so that you can then invest. Your second job is to invest, to grow your passive income, to plan for the future, and to let that continue to grow. Now, neglect is one of these jobs, and you will find yourself in trouble. You will have major problems in the future. I was talking to somebody who's in their late 50s that said, I got no money saved for retirement. I don't have any investments. And that's a bad situation to be in that I don't want you to ever be in. So how can you do this? How do you make this happen? Well, does anybody know who this guy is? Okay, well, this guy's named Ronald Reed, okay? He was a janitor. He was a gas station attendant. He grew up in Vermont. He was an impoverished farming household where he grew up. He walked and hitchhiked to school, yes, 4 miles each way, yes, and he passed away in 2014, okay? Well, let's talk about this guy. In 2020, how much did a janitor make in 2020? Well, the answer is $9.56 an hour. So $10 or less an hour is what a janitor make in 2020, less than that even earlier. Well, you know what's interesting? At $9.56 per hour, that's like $382 a week. That's $20,000 per year. Okay, we're not talking about a lot of money here. But when Ronald Reed died in 2014, his will donated $1.2 million to the Brooks Memorial Library. Well, how did this guy get $1.2 million? He didn't inherit it, okay? He donated $4.8 million to the hospital, and his net worth was $8 million at the time that he passed away. Now, Ronald's investments made a lot more money than his income he was getting from being a janitor. And that is a lot of zeros. And now this was a normal guy, blue collar guy, just like you and me. He understood something that most people simply do not understand. So the question really is like, how did he do this? And how did he do it on such low income? Well, it wasn't luck. It wasn't that he won the lottery. It wasn't that he had rich parents. He came from an impoverished farming community. It was not that he made tons of money. He made $20,000 a year. So what happened here, guys? How did this actually happen? Well, really quite easily is he saved part of his money. Part of that $20,000 he saved for himself. This doesn't mean he went and bought a new car or clothes or anything else. He kept 10% of everything he made and invested that in his future, okay? And then maybe he did 15 and 20 and worked his way up. This is also known as what's called pay yourself first, which is my first step to investing. Pay yourself first. So what if you cannot afford to pay yourself 10% that you can go in to do investments? Well, start with 1%. Okay, start with 1% and have a goal to get that to 2, have a goal to get that to 3, work on reducing expenses, work on increasing income, maybe get a gig, but just go from 1, 2, 3, whatever it takes to get there. Now, should you stop at 10? Well, the answer is no. You should keep going as much as you possibly can. The more you're willing to pay yourself, the better the lifestyle and things you'll be able to do in the future. You're going to sacrifice for the now so that you can get something better in the future. So how do you actually pay yourself first? Well, most people spend money for whatever's in their bank account. They call it bank account balance, bank accounting, account balance banking. I can't remember. Anyway, basically the idea is you look at your account and see how much you have, and that's actually how much you spend. Or they spend even more because they actually put it on credit cards. So how much is in my account versus how much do I have to spend is what people are typically look at. So what I like to do is I like to take that 10% and put it in a different bank account, not the one that you use all the time. Make sure you do not have checks to this account. Make sure you do not have a debit card to this account. Have this bank completely across town or an online bank where it's harder to get to. I really recommend that it is a high yield savings, so at least that's gonna start getting some of that money, getting a little something, something, okay? Now, step 2, control your expenses. Look at your expenses. Determine how you can pay yourself 10%. If you could live on 90% of your income, what changes would you have to make to live off 90% of your income? Now, let's jump into a few practical ways to save 10%. Have a grocery list and only buy what's on the list. Share meals at a restaurant. Cut back on eating out. Plan and save for major purchases. If you can pay cash for something rather than financing, it makes a big deal. Be careful about online shopping. Amazon has made it way too easy to just hit a button and have it show up the next day. Lower your car payment, pay off your car, cut the cable or do some bundling, switch to a different cell phone carrier. There are lots of things you can do. Watch your utility use, refinance or pay off your student loans, cancel subscriptions, maybe even the ones you do use. Track and know what you spend is a big one. Maybe refinance your property, have regular financial meetings with your spouse, call and ask for a better deal on subscriptions. Hey, will you give me a better deal for this, okay? Prepay for a discount and round up some spare change are some ways to actually make this happen. Now, a couple of years ago, I wanted to buy a ski pass. I live in the mountains, I love to ski, and I used to eat out almost every day. So if you figure 12 bucks a day, 5 days a week, I was spending like $60 per week. Over 52 weeks, that's $3,102. But I wanted to buy ski passes for me and for my entire family. And ski passes were about $2,000. So what did I do? I stopped eating out. I had leftovers from dinner, and that simple change paid for my family's ski passes. That's what I'm talking about here, guys. This is how we can become a Ronald. Now, step number 3 is grow your investments. Compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world, said Albert Einstein. If you can invest $40 a week, okay, and I just talked about how I save $60 a week. In a year, if you save $40 a week, you'd have $2,193. In 5 years, you'd have $13,000. In 10 years, you'd have $34,000. And in 50 years, you would have $2.5 million. If you save $40 a week, for 50 years, you would have $2.5 million. Compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. Guys, this is what's important. And look, it's small, you know, 2,000, 13,000, 34,000, 357,000. Like, it just grows. It grows and grows the longer that can be there. And the earlier you start investing, the more you will have at the end. So for example, Blake started investing in his 30s, and Jack started investing when he was 19. They invest the same amount of money over time, but Jack ends up with $2.5 million and Blake ends up with $1.5 million because Jack started 7 years earlier, okay? Simple interest, okay? Basically compound interest, $10,000, 5% over 40 years is $70,000. Simple interest is $30,000. It is more than double the amount if you're letting that compound. Why am I saying this? Because what you're doing is you're putting that money in and you're letting that money reinvest itself and you're not taking it out. Now, I don't think there's a person that's listening that can't find a way to save $40 per week. Ronald did it as a janitor. He did it making much less than those listening are making today. So how to do this? Well, one of the things you can do is set up a Vanguard index fund, lowest cost on fees, or you can do like an Acorn, which is simple and really easy to use. You could take some of that money and potentially do some hard money lending, and you could buy some rental property. So there's a lot of things that can happen. Now, I am not a financial planner. There is risk in investing, but I think the bigger risk than not investing than taking the risk of doing some investing. There's inflation, there's opportunity costs, there's not letting the compound interest actually work for you. So over the long term, I do so much better in real estate by being a hard money lender, and I love it. Step number 4, guard from losses. Speculation versus investing. Speculation is gambling. Speculation is the newest fad. Examples of that could be Bitcoin, penny stock, investing in somebody else's new business. This risk means it could go down to zero. This is why I really like real estate lending. It cannot go to zero, or owning real estate properties. It's never going to go to zero, okay? Step number 5, make where you live a profitable investment, which means buy your own home. There's tax benefits to buying your own home. You can get deductions in tax payments. You can get capital gains. It's tax-free for $250,000 for a single, or $500,000 for a joint filer. And rents over time just simply go up. You can see here in year 2000, rents were $602. And in the year 2020, rents are at $1,104, almost double what they were 20 years earlier. It's not going to stop. Are there ups? Are there downs? Absolutely. This shows you some of the ups and downs in real estate prices. Yes, that happens, but over the long term, it is going up. That's what's been happening. The 5 steps to make you more money with your investment than your job. Number 1, pay yourself first. Number 2, control your expenses. Number 3, grow your investments. Number 4, guard your investments from losses. And number 5, make your house a profitable investment. These are the steps. It's what I've used, what I highly recommend. Now, I promised you a copy of our next property roadmap. Our next property roadmap is going to reverse engineer your next deal. If you'd like to get a copy of that, send your email address, text me your email address to 435-294-0433, 435-294-0433. Now, if you'd like to get access to our Find Fun Flip system, check us out at DoHardMoney.com/get started, DoHardMoney.com/get started. We have funding, courses, resources, calculators, software support, and so much more. Now, if you've enjoyed what you've heard today, check out my podcast called Income Hacker. You will really enjoy it. Now, next week, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be going through the 6 ways to increase profit on every fix and flip. You're not going to want to miss this one. If you haven't already, text me your email address to 435-294-0433, and I'll get you over that next property roadmap. All right, guys, make it a very profitable day, and we will see you next week.